I'm excited today to be raising the main roof beam here on the gatehouse, and I've got two logs here to choose between that I took down. I always like to have a couple options. One though is made out of spruce and the other was a fir tree. The fir tree here happens to be a little bit larger diameter and straighter. The spruce here has a bit of a bow in it. So I ended up, when I piled it here, I pile it with the bow facing up to try to straighten the log out as it dries a little bit, that the weight of it will press down on that bow. But spruce tends to be a stronger wood, so I'm going to try that one first. I'd rather use that beam. Even though it's got a bit of a bow, I think the verticals that I have positioned there to hold this up, they also had a little bit of a bow, and two of them kind of lean away from the structure. And so I think that curve may sort of make up that difference. So anyways, we're going to try that out and see if we can raise this today. I had a friend lined up to come over and help me to do this afternoon, but I got off work 2 hours early and I couldn't resist. So I'm going to try to do this myself here. Okay, so this is still a green log, and it's feeling pretty heavy. So there I've got it sitting on the third notch. Okay. That's a lot of weight there. I think this is going to result in one of my brackets coming off. There. We're almost in position. Bracket's gone and there's nothing holding this here right now. I don't know why it didn't fall on me. Success. I just got to replace my bracket here. Alright, so now I got it up here in position. I've got to now even up the ends, and however much overhang I want to have on either side, I'll determine that. Saw one end off if it's too long, and then we're going to spike this in place down through here and into the top of the logs there. And that shows we're pretty level. So that worked out well. Our main beam is level. The main beam is now in place. I messed up with the camera and it never caught it, but I finished that off by putting 6-inch spikes down through the top of each one of these into the pole here. So now that beam's not going anywhere. And I'm on to my roof logs here. And these here are just fir logs, 12-foot ones that I took that were all of a similar diameter, probably close to a 2x4 in diameter. And I'm going to run those now down the length of this for the supports for my roof. Now to start that off, I'm going to just strap a couple of them on to figure out how much overhang I want to have on either end, because I'd like to have maybe enough overhang here on the back end that I could pile firewood along the back of there, so that as I'm harvesting my firewood out of my block of woods over here, I've got a place that I could pile it to dry. So we'll see if I got enough room with these 12-foot logs to do that. I'd need about 18 inches of overhang off the end here to do my firewood. This wire's really come in handy throughout the building of this, just for holding things together temporarily. So you can't get nails back out of stuff like this. Once you start driving in 4 and 6 inch spikes, they're not going to easily come out again. So you want to make sure everything's positioned where you want it prior to hammering it into place. Okay. Almost feel like a real carpenter with this. Drop my measuring tape. I gotta go back down. Okay, I'm looking to position these beams 2 feet apart, which should mean 8 or 10 of them will do the span down here. And I think that's going to give my structure enough strength that the snow load or whatever wouldn't break it. I've got enough overhang over here for my wood pile to go down below, so that's great. It'll protect that when it's drying. I allowed 24 inches going that way and 2 feet between. Okay, that's 2. Now, I had to cut a couple more to do this, and so I've got 2 green ones down here on the driveway, and I've got to mix those in because I find green wood tends to be a little more flexible. After these have dried for a while, they firm up, but I don't want to put several green ones in a row and then have some sort of a sag develop in my roof. So I'm going to go down and grab those, and I'll get one of them fitted in here next. So I started now, I've got a beam here nailed in, and I put another beam on the far end over there, and I attached a rope running the distance. That way it saves me a lot of time trying to line up my butt ends here to be even for the overhang. Okay, so now all my logs can come in and just meet this rope. The other thing I did, and these aren't secured with anything, but I added some blocks in here. Very simple thing to do. That's just a scrap, off of the ends when I cut these. And you try to cut them that you can jam them in there. And what that'll do is displace the weight that's going to be on the roof down from the main log here to keep it from sagging down into this log, and now even down into this log here. So it makes it a lot sturdier. I basically have the strength of 3 logs now to be holding up the roof. So little tiny thing there to do for an improvement and make a big difference in how much weight this could take. I don't really expect it's going to have any weight on it because of the angle that we're using and metal roofing. I don't think the snow is going to stay on this, in which case it's really not going to carry a whole lot of weight. And I think we're probably overbuilt in terms of strength. I'm going to set up my next log here. I don't think I have my measuring tape on me. I'm going to have to come down again. Okay, so that's about 2 2 feet right there. And we're going to bring it down to touch the line. That looks good there. 2 feet there. We're lined up here with the rope. Bang the next one in. We're going to nail in all the bottom ends first, and then we go to the top. And it makes it really easy. You just measure out 2 feet along the top and nail it in. I think next we'll go with our green log. And we'll mix this one in here, and then we'll mix another green log in further down. Yeah, so all of these beams now are nailed on the bottom and lined up. Now to line up this first one here, I just drop my rope straight down, and I just want to see that it lines up with the wall down there. And then I know that I've got this in the right spot. That looks about right there. And then from here, this should go together really easy. First one's on. Now we measure 2 feet in and drive the next one in. And then once all of these are on, it's going to be strapping that goes this way on the whole roof, and then my metal roofing. So I'm going to have to spend a little bit of money on strapping, because that's milled lumber, and on the metal roofing. But aside from that, the entire bones of this shed is put together right now for about $160. Which is pretty great in today's market with the cost of lumber. I've got a altogether 16 by 8 shed. Hey, so I'm excited today to be raising the rate. So we're excited today to be raising the main roof beam here on our whatever the fuck it's called.